Hello and welcome back to Build Back Better, a series of online conversations from For the Region. Today I am so delighted to be talking to Rachael Flanagan, CEO of Mrs Buckét Cleaning Services, a fantastic, inspiring local businesswoman who has such a story to tell. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Rachael already. She's a real inspiration to many of us who run businesses in our region. And as this week is Global Entrepreneurship Week, we thought we'd get Rachael on to tell us a bit about how her business is adapting in these really strange times. And I'm sure you'll hear from Rachael herself, but she's such a force to be reckoned with, and she's got such a clear mission for her business. It's really inspiring. So Rachael, thank you for joining us. Lovely to see you.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you have been having a really busy time. I watched your October update on LinkedIn. You've just had a massive rebrand. Tell us about your story and your 15 years in, massive rebrand. What does that all mean for you?
So yeah, 15 years, goodness, gosh, where has that time gone, isn't it? Yeah, lots of ups and downs, lots and lots of lessons in those 15 years. So now we are in COVID. We've been dealing with the cleaning situation with COVID for the last 7 months now. And we knew that we were obviously approaching our 15th year. And we knew that we'd been working on our rebrand project, which has been a year's project. So this was happening before COVID. We were planning to roll out our new vision, our values, our big idea on where the business is going long term. And then COVID hit, which obviously shocked us all. And it completely got us and myself into reaction leadership, which was very, very crazy at the beginning. But now we've adapted. We did do our rebrand. We went with it because we felt that that was even more important through these times, is to elevate our business and our brand. And here we are. So yeah, 15 years. I'm 33, started the business when I was 18. I sometimes feel like it was yesterday, but then, you know, throw 2 small children into the mix as well. And then other days I'm absolutely knackered and you know, think, oh, can I keep doing this? At the moment, I absolutely love what I'm doing. And we've got a real deep purpose in the business and where this business is going long term. And I'm very, very passionate about changing the perception of the cleaning market. And in the nicest way, probably COVID has helped us with that, positioning cleaners in more of a professional light. So yeah, look out.
How many people do you employ these days, Rachael? How big's your team?
So I've got a core team of around 20 to 25 people. I've got a senior management team in that, and then an office team and area managers then that look after all of our field teams. And then we've got just under 300 cleaners then out there that are, you know, doing shifts from 4 a.m. in the morning from a manufacturing site deep in the valleys through to a lovely solicitor's office in Bristol. And then we go as far as Carmarthenshire. So that's our reach at the minute.
Yeah, really amazing. And you take it really seriously, don't you, that role as a leader and, you know, the well-being of your team and the professionalism of your team. That's a big part of what drives you, isn't it?
I think in the nicest way, obviously when I started my cleaning business, Mrs Buckét, I had 20 quid. I had absolutely no money to, you know, even invest in it. I didn't even think about investing in it because I was just going straight into the domestic market and kind of went with what felt right. But it's such an easy business also to start at. So what you find is there's a lot of companies that will say, you know, they're commercial cleaners and they're professional cleaners. And I think I dealt with that over the years where you've got your really big competition and then you've got your newbies come in. But I think now with what's happening with COVID, it's only elevating how professional a cleaning service needs to be. So actually for us, it's a great opportunity. It's a great time. Like I was speaking to somebody yesterday, quite a well-known business locally. They've got 3 cleaners coming in daily. And actually, when we looked behind the scenes and we did that cleaning audit for them, they, they didn't have the right chemicals, they weren't dealing with the health and safety procedures as what they should be, and they didn't have the right kit either. So I think educating our local region on actually right now how important cleaning and disinfection is, then people are genuinely caring. So that's why I take it seriously, because we're dealing with COVID. It's just so important now to clean premises properly, and getting away from, well, anybody can be a cleaner, because actually they can't. So I think the cleaning industry is going to change, and I think it's taken time to do that, but I'm looking forward to raising the bar as well. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, what's exciting really to hear from you is a story of a business growing and thriving in these really difficult times. And we hear a lot, don't we, about the struggle for many businesses across our region, across the world, really difficult times. But beneath all of that, there are these huge opportunities for businesses to take new directions, to find new markets, as you say, to elevate what they're already doing. It's a time of huge opportunity if you can adapt and take the bull by the horns, take some new paths, new directions. What's your big opportunity for you then in terms of expanding and growing the business through this time?
So for me, we are ready now for our next growth stage. So for the last couple of years, we've been massively focusing on our processes, our systems, our retention, customer service. Our people are obviously at the heart of our business, and that is such a huge task, because we've got big numbers of employees that we've got to look after. But for me, it's definitely growing the business smarter. It's going into new sectors, growing sectors. We specialize a lot in manufacturing, and this is something that we want to do even more of now, and we're seeing some really good results there. So I think what we're looking to do is we're going after market share. So we want to win more clients, grow, sell more to our clients that we're already serving. It's been a time of listening through COVID as well, listening to actually, can we solve that problem for our client? Okay, we might not do that now, but if we did a bit of this and we did a bit of that, and we've also got that knowledge and supplier chain, we've brought in new services into our business, and that's definitely kept us agile. I think it's just such a huge opportunity for people to raise their business, as in become that authoritative figure in their market. There's so many people working online, but even just focusing on that right now, even if it doesn't come into any sale, is just being remembered and just constantly giving. There's so much knowledge out there, and I think that we all don't appreciate how much knowledge we genuinely do have. And I think that is a big opportunity, to raise your own profile, raise your own business. And the ones that are sitting in the shadows, unfortunately, change is happening so quick. Who knows what's going to happen then to those businesses? So you've got to be fast, and you've got to be out there.
Who do you work with locally? Talking about supply chain, your marketing and your comms is all exemplary, as you say, getting the message out there, producing value in your social media feeds and keeping your name on top of people's minds. Who helps you with your marketing, and what's the strategy?
So before COVID, we were doing quite a bit of it in-house. I'm very passionate about marketing. That's what I love. I suppose if we could take one theme out of the business, marketing would definitely be, on the top of my list. And I knew that we needed to be more agile as a business because of COVID. So what we did is we then got in touch with a local agencies. So we use multiple of agencies, and they specialize in different areas for us. But then I treat them like my team. So I have a monthly meeting with them. I have a weekly meeting, as in comms with them as well. We underpin that with a strategy and where we want to go and what success look like. So how will we know? So what's the KPIs? What's the themes? So it's quite a lot. to be honest with you, but I believe that the brands that are shining out now, shining light on themselves now, and they are a trusted brand. Like, trust is a major, major thing now and for the future of who we want to buy from. And I think if we can get that right through marketing, sales will just totally change. And I think, you know, sales is already changing. From a marketing point of view, it's giving and it's sharing the knowledge, it's giving advice, it's doing things like this as well, which is great. And there's so many agencies out there that specialize in different areas. You don't have to just get one. You can have multiple people that are really good in copywriting, really good at maybe writing PR pieces for you, social media companies. But then I bring them all together and I treat them like a team. So then we have that collaboration as well between the agencies.
Yeah, fantastic. It's great. The more we're working with each other as local businesses across the region as well, isn't it? And supporting each other. You know, I think one of the key things we've talked about before is local supply chain and using local suppliers, supporting other businesses, them supporting you. Same goes for clients as well, hoping to be part of a regional supply chain where you're the first port of call for those big regional clients.
Yes, and hopefully now, I mean, we can feel the difference and we can start to see the difference now, only now, but we are seeing that more larger companies, blue chip, are looking at the local suppliers around them rather than maybe before they would have had a national cleaning company come in and swoop up everything. But because they weren't quick enough or fast enough on the ground with all the challenges that COVID's done, it's made them look elsewhere. But then they're realizing actually the value that I'm getting on my doorstep is amazing, and it's making people change. So I think that's quite exciting for big corporates to think differently about the local supply chain and have that choice because of COVID. So I think that's an opportunity for businesses, small businesses.
Yeah, and we need to encourage that and champion that wherever we see it, because it means so much to local economies, to our foundational economy, those jobs in the local region, opportunities for young people across our region to get into kind of fulfilling careers closer to home. And the more we lobby and campaign for all businesses really to look at how they can really contribute to the local economy by the choices they make in terms of who they buy from, it's a massive force for good that we can all easily make an impact.
Yeah, I definitely feel it's the year of the change, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some big disruptions. They're always great times for innovators and entrepreneurs. As you say, you mentioned listening before, isn't it? Just having your eyes open, your ears open, and trying to spot what some of those emerging trends are, changes in behavior, and see where the opportunities lie.
And I think the opportunity is in relationship building as well, because there's a feeling, isn't it, in the air of whoever you are, everybody feels like they are in this together. I know everybody's got different stories and things, but there's definitely that feeling. And I think people are, maybe before, you could never speak to somebody, you could never get to that person in that company. But now, because they're working from home more, they're on LinkedIn, they're on technology more, then you can make appointments and actually engage with people that maybe you've never had that opportunity to do. So relationship building is another opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah. What are your thoughts about the future of South West Wales? And, you know, what would you love to see? There are so many big developments going on, aren't there? The new arena in Swansea, development all over the place. And I know that's a sort of target market for you, isn't it? There are opportunities in all these regeneration schemes to do with City Deal and other projects that Welsh Government are leading on, and the private sector. What are some of the contracts that you're targeting? Do you see big opportunities in those new developments?
Yes and no. Again, it depends on the decision makers behind the scenes. So if it's a huge development, I mean, if they haven't, if they've kept up with the old, procurement way of how to actually bid for that job, it's going to be quite difficult, because again, you're up against huge national companies. Starts getting a bit of you're bidding then against major multi-million pound businesses, and they'll make small margins on it because they're looking to gobble up lots of the contracts. But then I also think that because some people have been let down by larger businesses, and sometimes even small businesses where maybe they haven't adapted quick enough, or they couldn't get staff quick enough in there, and that there's opportunities. So for me, I'm quite apprehensive, I suppose, about these large building companies coming in, because there's a lot of change with contacts behind the scenes as well. So it does take time. So I prefer to make more local connections with my network. That's what works with us. But then you've got huge opportunities with co-working spaces. Now is going to become the thing of the future. So that is going to completely change how offices work. So co-working in the sectors is going to only grow. So there's opportunities there for us. I think the education market is an interesting market, where South Wales tend to not outsource a lot of their cleaning, and they keep it, which is fine, but they keep it within the councils. But there's a lot of, behind the scenes things that's happening there. So I think there will come to a point, because the cleaning standards, hygiene in general has now been raised, people's expectations have been raised. I think that will be an opportunity for the cleaning industry, because they'll be bringing specialists in then to do that externally.
I wanted to come back on what you were talking about procurement, and what a challenge that is for regional businesses. And it sounds, from your perspective, and it's the same with many companies that I talk to across South West Wales. On the one hand, there are these big developments taking place, these new projects coming forward. And on the other hand, procurement just remains such a barrier to the local supply chain. As you were saying, really, it's about where you can build those relationships with local firms, where you can talk to the right person, you can get decisions made. Do you see public sector procurement as an area that you just can't focus on because it's so draining in terms of time and resources to compete, as you say, with those massive multinational companies sweeping up contracts?
I think the public sector is in where there's huge opportunities with Welsh Government. I think there's opportunities there. And I think Welsh Government are very keen to use Welsh businesses. I think where the challenge is where you've got huge, say, office blocks being put up, and it's from a certain fund, and you're so far away from the decision makers, wherever they are, because they're not local most of the time. They are the challenges we are finding, because the contact isn't the building services manager. It's, way back there. And that's if you get a reply back on email. There's no telephone numbers. I mean, it's just that's what then becomes very hard work to win that type of work. But I think the tender market, there's opportunities there. Like I said, the education sector, I do think that's going to change in the future more and more in Wales. And I think people are realising that actually we're better off outsourcing this to experts because of COVID as well. But that's what I think will be the change for the future, because we outsource so many other things locally and nationally, but we don't always, in certain places, we don't always outsource cleaning. But the extra value and the time that can be saved, and now with the cleanliness and the hygiene factors, is huge for them. And often they have a lot of internal teams running it, where we would just run that as part of our team.
Yeah, that's big shifts, right across the economy. These kind of big shifts, they're really changing the game. coming back to you as an entrepreneur, Rachael, and the journey you've had and the challenges that you've overcome, what do you think are the 3 character traits that you, whether you were born with them or whether you've had to learn how to respond in different situations, what are the 3 character traits that you can put down your success and your continued energy for your business?
Yeah, I mean, some would say it's your strengths, but others may say it's a weakness as well, and they're your annoying habits as an entrepreneur. I think drive is a big thing. I think you've got to have that drive. You know, I call it the 2% rule, where we're always improving things by 2%. So that's your business. So, you know, tinkering around with your business and improving that. But having that drive, having that clear vision, know where you're going, how am I going to get there? That's the first one. The second one would definitely be my mindset. The mindset to me is several areas, but just to kind of make it simple, that's about looking after yourself, so you have fresh and a clear mind, and your family and everything else, because we know we've all been there when that hasn't happened. I've learned from that. You know, my family's learned from that. So that's very high up on my agenda, is looking after myself, because that looks after my mind. And within that mindset, that's about myself learning. So constantly learning. What I've noticed over the years is entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever you want to call them, they stop learning, and because they think, oh, I'm good enough now, but actually we're never good enough. We can always learn, and, you know, making sure that we're constantly up to date with marketing trends. Like, there's so many cool things now online that you can do to keep up to date with that. I mean, you know, every year I'd go to London to like the marketing festival and stuff, and I just go on my own and just meet other people. But how much you can learn in days like that, working away from your business, only helps your own mindset. And then the third one, I would say, is your network, the people you hang around with, just the noise that goes on around you, like decluttering that out, whether you need to do something about it. Could even be like a family member or something, which in often cases it is. But it's really having a supportive network. And that doesn't have to always be business people. You can just have people who are very positive. They've got a different way of looking at things. Whereas, you know, what I found in the past is hanging around with people who worry before you even do something. Oh gosh, don't do that, because what if? Well, what if? Well, we'll work that out if that happens. But if you surround yourself around people who have got that similar attitude to you, which takes time, it definitely takes time to do that, to get that network around you, then that's very powerful, because you're constantly raising yourself. The conversations that you're having with people are at a much higher level. And again, all that's doing is growing. You're growing yourself on a personal basis as well as a business. So they would be my 3.
Yeah, fantastic. I can completely agree with all of those things. I mean, I'm a really big reader, you know, and I think that message about learning is a really key one from starting my business 16 years ago as well. You know, it's just been such a learning journey, the whole thing.
I know.
And stuff you have to get good at that you've got no idea about. And the wisdom's all out there. There's so much, isn't there? Whether it's YouTube,
you've got to give it a go, haven't you?
Events.
You've also got to give it a go, and you've got to fail, and you've got to try, because you just don't want to regret that when you're older. And there's just so many people that do have those regrets. I think, you know, you just got to give it a go. But then that's why it's just so important to hang around with the right people, because they only encourage you, or sometimes they pull you back and go, hang on, have you thought about this? And you've gone, no, actually, I do need to do that. So yeah. And again, there's so many opportunities now, because people are online more. People are much more open as well about talking about like the real stuff that's going on behind the scenes, rather than smoke and mirrors and ego. So I think there's opportunities to, like, you know, get some buddies in your business network going.
Definitely. And as you've mentioned that, I'll tell you about a new initiative that we're launching at For the Region in partnership with Swansea University and the enterprise team there. We're creating a club for startup businesses in South West Wales called Starting Up For the Region. And it's exactly what you say there. Bring together these inspiring or aspiring entrepreneurs to just meet other business people. And, as a network, we're connected with companies like yours and people like you and others in the region who are running successful businesses. And I think, it's an opportunity to connect established businesses with new people coming in and share some of that wisdom that you've just talked about there, help with mindset. And I know that's something you're really passionate about as well. You were running a club for entrepreneurs. Tell us a little bit about that. COVID must have hit that because you were running events.
We haven't been doing anything, in all honesty, with that. I mean, I think, it's just been full on with the businesses and stuff. But I've always been passionate about entrepreneurs and helping them. It's quite silo, isn't it? It's, we're all working silo working when we're on our own running it. I mean, if you've got business partners, that might be a little bit different, but then that might also give you some challenges. But I've always been passionate. For me, I listened when I was in college. I listened to a guy come in and do a talk about his business. And it really, really inspired me. And I just feel like if I can just give that back, or sometimes like people don't need to go through as much hurt and pain and things of what, we've probably gone through over the last 15 years. There's some ways to speed it up as well. If we look back, there's probably years in that we've gone, oh gosh, shouldn't have done that bit, or that cost me years and years of a waste of time. And I think naturally people want to help one another. So I think, definitely For the Region, we can share more knowledge and having those events and having those opportunities, because, you never know, you could give them an opportunity to get in with one of your customers or something and really help them as a business grow.
Yeah, using our networks to help each other, isn't it? And understanding who's out there, who's doing what, who's trying to start new things. One of the things I've always been so grateful for, and I bet you share this, is starting my business young. That I had lots of people advising me, and it comes back to what you're saying about the network around you. I had lots of people saying, maybe go and get a job first, get some experience under your belt, then think about starting your own business. And we just plunged into it, and it was the best decision we've ever made, because we've had to learn a lot along the way, and we've made mistakes and learnt from those, but we were young enough to to take on the risk and the learning journey of it. And now, and I'm sure you feel the same, motherhood and family life and wanting that balance, you're at a stage in your business, aren't you, where you can, take that time for your kids and your family, because you've created something, you've invested, I suppose, your 20s in growing a business. And looking back, I bet you feel it's the best decision you ever made. Do you?
Yeah, I do. Definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've sacrificed so much stuff, like my family. We've, just what also the stress that comes from running a business. Like, people just don't get it unless you're running a business, or unless you're very close to somebody who runs a business. And I've gone through all those years. And all of that, good times, bad times, amazing times. For me now, going forward, it's all about that balance, that sense of, I can do things on my terms with my own, and having that freedom of choice as well. Not that it feels like it at the moment with everything that's going on, but bring back the holidays and the travel. But that's taken 15 years. Like, people sometimes, now and again, like you'll have a little comment going, oh, well, you were lucky though, weren't you? And you just think you have no idea. There is no luck. And, there's a lot of effort that has to go behind the scenes, lot of hard work, hours and hours, constantly thinking about the business. But, if it's a success, then it can completely change your life. And for me, what I love about it is it's just part of my lifestyle. I couldn't even think about working for anybody else. Probably nobody else would have me working for them either. But yeah, I love it.
Well, I think we can end on that note of encouragement, really, for anyone across the region that's thinking about starting a business, young or old. I think you're never too late and it's never too early to start a business. The whole week this week, actually, there are loads of events and conversations going on for Global Entrepreneurship Week. And I'm on a panel on Friday for something called Female Founders Friday. Look that up on Eventbrite for all our listeners if you're interested in more of this sort of conversation with inspiring entrepreneurs and success stories from across the region. I'm sure our listeners feel, as I do, Rachael, that you've shared so much wisdom and inspiration in today's conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time. You know, you talk about mindset, and that is clearly one of your sort of strongest assets, having that right mindset to the business and enjoying the journey of it and the challenges that you've set for yourself and overcome. It's really inspiring. So from me, well done for everything you're doing and continue to do. Good luck with all your current initiatives and projects. And thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Dawn. Really appreciate it.